Transfer deal sheet day. What's going on, friends, and welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. As always, mate, I do hope you're doing well. I really do hope that. And yes, welcome back to Chelsea News. And because it is a Tuesday, and we are in a transfer window, of course, we'll be reacting to the Athletics transfer deal sheet. You know, for me, the leading authority on general footballing news, but we will be reacting to the Chelsea segment to try and learn what's going on in this transfer window for Chelsea Football Club. There is all kinds of silly rumours circulating around the mainstream media. One speaking about Julian Álvarez, hitting the mic there, which is 99% not true. I'd say entirely not true. I'm not going to cite that story. There's a few no-nos here. Generally, I like to react to all the media. I never say I'm a source. I'm a content creator that reacts to news. But there's a couple of them that even me, like even just a guy who doesn't claim to be a news source, who's just a fan reacting to headlines that I refuse to touch. One being the Spanish outlet Fichaz, as we all know. And one talking about Julian Álvarez to Chelsea, which can absolutely suck a fat one. Right, in today's video, we'll probably learn a little bit more about Jacquet, Jeremy Jacquet, and what's going on there, and maybe players going out. Could we sign anyone else? We'll learn together, you and I. As you can see, wearing Chelsea shirt. The away kit. It is nice. As much as I am on my knees for Chelsea to hopefully that wasn't really loud, that squeak and me moving the arm. Anyway, hopefully, as much as I want Chelsea to sort themselves out, become a proper football club and get a front of shirt sponsor like a respectable footballing institution, I must say that, you know, that shirt behind me on your left, my right, and indeed this shirt, the away shirt from this season, is very nice without a sponsor, but we do want a sponsor, and of course that is a developing / not developing story that I will cover here on the channel. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you do want to support me, it's super easy. All you do is like the video and subscribe if you're yet to do so, only if you want to. Only if you want to. Why wouldn't you want to? But should you do so, hit the notifications icon so you get notified when I upload. Worth mentioning, also, friends, that you can watch short-form content here on the channel, yeah, as well as on Football Therapy clips on TikTok and Instagram. Go follow those accounts. That'll be fun. And if you're thinking, you know what, Jan, you know, I dig this. I like listening to you, but I'd wish it was on a podcast. Well, you're in luck. Every single piece of content is uploaded in podcast format. That's nice. Just search Football Therapy Podcast on Spotify, where you can watch the video as well. What a tasty treat that is. And of course on Apple Podcast, possibly on other platforms as well. I have no ruddy idea. Let's go. Pointless sharing screen. Because it is. Don't need to show you any graphics, any stats, any sexy metrics. You know, I'm not going to get you all hot under the collar with pie charts today, mate. So, spider graphs. Oh, don't. Stop it. Stop it. How to get Jan excited? Give him a good, you know, attacking midfielder spider graph in a top 5 league. Oh, and I'm yours. Yes, so we are reading off The Athletic. I've just skipped down to the Chelsea segment. This is an interesting read. Like Ethan Nwaneri possibly leaving Arsenal. I must say, on a fleeting tangent, if I was Arsenal, which thank goodness I'm not, I would be fuming with the Nwaneri situation. Also, like, you know, what's going on with Eze? You top baller friggin' slammed a hat-trick against North London rival Spurs, and he's just not featured for games, and he just doesn't come off the bench. I'd be annoyed. Oh well, we're talking about Chelsea. So, let's see what's going on. Chelsea, first subcategory. What's happened this week, gang? Well, as The Athletic reported on Sunday, Chelsea are in talks with Iran over the signing of 20-year-old centre-back Jeremy Jacquet. Negotiations between the clubs are ongoing, and Chelsea hope they can finalise a deal this week. It does feel like this one's going to happen. Let me just read a little bit more and I'll tell you how I feel, which is a developing story. My feelings. However, Reims head coach Habib Beye does not want to lose the player. Yeah, bearing in mind, they are in the hunt for European football, and he's like a really good player. Especially with the team having the chance to qualify for the Champions League. Well, there you go. Wrong. Stop doing that. Are 6th in Ligue 1. I'm allowed to do it. I'm of French heritage. 4 points behind Marseille in 3rd. He said, the gaffer, the coach, said the following. I was going to do a French accent, but I don't think he's French. I believe Jeremy is very important to our objectives, and if he were to leave, we would have to lower those objectives because he's a key player for us. He's one of the best in our team. Well, you want freaking 65 million for him, so he must be good. We have to be able to resist this kind of approach. There are several factors beyond my control in this matter. Right, so let's just, before we move on, talk about Jeremy Jacquet. As much as, like, you know, I can watch like a highlight reel, I didn't know this kid existed before we were linked to a 55 to 65 million pound move. We did a video statistical comparison between him, the guy of Jacobo from Como. Yes, I'm sorry. And, of course, Senesi from Bournemouth. Now, I very much nailed my colours to the mast when I saw the comparative statistics. Senesi has 6 months left on his contract. He's going to turn 29, which, you know, the sporting directors might be like, older than 25. But, you know, I think a lot of Chelsea fans are calling out for said experience. His stats are incredible, Senesi. I think he's Argentine, isn't he? So he mates with Enzo and Deadman. And Garnacho and, you know, Facundo, who's now gone, of course. He is, I just want to double check. Marcos Senesi. Why won't my Google work? Okay. He is, he's from Argentina. So he'll turn 29 at the end of the season. Well, in May. Just before the end of the campaign, he'll turn 29. 6 months left on his deal. We could sign him on a 2+1 contract. His stats are very, very strong indeed. And even though he's a senior player, because he's been coming from Bournemouth, he will still get a pay rise at Chelsea. Like, Bournemouth can't be paying this guy more than like 40k a week, a defender. Do you know what I mean? We'll probably be like, we'll double it immediately, plus a Champions League bonus. He's not going to get like Man City money. Like, very rightly, when everyone sort of moaned how Mark Guéhi, you know, we didn't go for £20 million Mark Guéhi. The truth is, there'll be a big signing on fee. There'll be a huge agent fee. And apparently he's on like 300k a week. So, do you know what I mean? Like, to be honest, as much as I would have loved Mark Guéhi, loved him. And in certain instances break the... But yeah, like, people, you guys rightly in the comment section were highlighting... So, you know, Levi Colwell's going to be on, like, 80k a week, performing really high level. You bring Mark Guéhi in on 300k a week. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't give him that, but, like, this is what he's gone. He's got the bag, basically. He's got, like, Abu Dhabi money. And as much as I think certain players we could break the wage structure for a younger player, it's just not worth it. You know, I just don't think it's worth it. So, you know, someone like Senesi, apparently, look, if you Google Marcos Senesi, he's still top stories, Chelsea. He's seen as an alternative to Jeremy Jacquet, but it does look like Jacquet is the boy. And like I said, his stats look inferior, but people who maybe know more about French football than I, or are better watched him enough to have a sort of qualified eye test opinion on the young man, say, yeah, he's good. Fine. It is a bit like, whatever. If he's a good player, he costs that much, it's just another good option. Many of you, again, rightly, have been saying like, oh, but you know, Mamadou Sarr's just won AFCON. Congratulations to Senegal and Sarr and, of course, Jackson. Although, how long is Jackson going to be a Chelsea player? We can still congratulate him. I did forget, that slipped my mind to speak about AFCON. I did watch that crazy final. You know, Mamadou Sarr, I mean, I'm sure Strasbourg fans would love that. After Rosinia. Oh yeah, we're just going to take Sarr back now because he's doing well. Joaquin Panicelli. We'll just grab him in the summer as well. We've got to let them have something for a little bit, at least. Yeah. But yeah, Mamadou Sarr, he's in the future plans. Of course, he'll probably rejoin with Omega in the summer. And of course, Aaron Anselmino, speaking of Argentine players for Chelsea, he's really highly rated on loan at Borussia Dortmund. So people are saying, well, we got these guys. Why are we buying Jeremy Jacquet? Well, the truth is, guys, so you could say the addition of Jacquet, Sarr, and Anselmino, just to be considered, probably reflects the exits of maybe like a Disasi, Tosin, maybe Chalobah. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. Maybe Benoit Badiashile. Do you know what I mean? They want to find the players they can truly lean on and trust. So, you might end up with Colwill, Fofana, Sarr, Anselmino, Joshua Champot. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's still there. One might go on like another loan. Do you know what I mean? It's not crazy because they probably want to get rid of some guys that they decided are not for them. So, Jeremy Jacquet, I think you'd probably put the farm on this kid joining. And clearly, they think they can slam dunk this kid straight into the team and he'll have this, I don't want to say ceiling raising because we've got a really high ceiling as a young team, but floor raising effect on Liam Rosenior's team immediately. No pressure, 20-year-old kid who's playing in France. We will see. Let's move on. What next? Well, Facundo Buonanotte, we hardly knew ye. Of course, his season-long loan from Brighton's been cut short and Leeds have now borrowed him instead for the rest of the campaign. The Argentina international made just 8 appearances this season, only one in the Premier League. It felt like more than 8, didn't it? It did feel like more than 8. I mean, there's probably, off the bench a couple as well. Yeah. I mean, that was mental, wasn't it? I mean, what was a Facundo Buonanotte success story? Probably a Dewsbury Hall vibe, but you need the Conference League for that. And even Facundo, he just looked like a kid on. I don't know, didn't work. Fair enough, cut short. Probably no big financial loss. Chelsea have also recalled striker David Datro Fofana early from his loan at Turkish club Fatih Karagümrük. No run up on that one, mate. Just slipped straight into that. With an eye on a permanent transfer. Yeah. All right, so why are Chelsea looking to buy a defender? Excuse me, asks The Athletic. Well, they answer their own question with the following. Chelsea wanted to sign a centre-back last summer, of course, ACL injury, Levi Colwill. We know this story, yada, yada, yada. The club tried for Dean Howson of Bournemouth, but lost out to Real Madrid. We know the story, yada, yada, yada. They looked at different options after that, but did not think there was an upgrade available or attainable over what they already had at the time. Yeah, well, that's what you're telling people. That's what the brief is. Chelsea deliberately left Champions League A-list slot open to leave them flexibility for a new arrival in January to be added for the competition's knockout phase, assuming they qualified for it. Yeah. Big game tomorrow night against Paphos, of course. I tell you what, we could do a screen share. We could build a lineup because I haven't watched the press conference yet for Rosenior. So we could do a little lineup build. Bit of fun at the end of the video. Yeah, I'll probably prep that. We'll do a bit of that at the end. Re-signing academy graduate Mark Guéhi, who's now joined Man City from Crystal Palace, was not a possibility. Probably because he didn't want to come and go. And lots of money. Even though the transfer fee was taking him to Man City for only 20 million, there are other costs involved which make the deal a lot more expensive than that. It's like the Erling Haaland. He only cost 50 million. It was a buyout clause. Man City got a bargain. But if you look a little bit closer, you adjust your glasses. You take a deep breath, you lean in, and you will see that Erling Haaland deal cost them a lot of money. With sign-on fees and agent fees, and of course he's now on $500,000 a week. I think he scored 1 goal in 8 games as well. $500,000 a week, £2 million a month. £2 million a month. And I've still got him in my FPL like an absolute mug. In fact, I'm going to remove him after this. I've made the decision. So yeah, Haaland is an absolute beast, but and he won them the treble, yada. But he is, sometimes if he's not scoring and he just doesn't touch the ball and he's, you can see the money sort of being poured into him every minute. I don't know. Yeah, so there's lots and lots of money being involved with the Crystal Palace Mark Guéhi deal as well, and of course wages being a huge one. It was not just a financial decision, of course. As much as Guéhi is respected as a player, Chelsea are looking for a centre-back with different attributes than those he provides. This is obviously Chelsea briefing, though that may be true. What also won't be briefed by Chelsea would be he didn't want to come to Chelsea. It's got to be said, so, we got to be fair here, wouldn't we? But yeah, apparently we didn't want him anyway. We were looking for different centre-back attributes, which might be true, but also, I don't think he would have come to us. Should terms for Jacquet be agreed, he will become part of Liam Rosenior's first team squad immediately. You'd really hope so, because he's having a good season over at Run, and also he's going to cost ridiculous amounts of money. I suppose also, with Mark Guéhi, the 20 million, just quickly to finish on him, you have to pay that 20 million up front immediately, and all the fees, the agent fees and the signing fees, up immediately. So maybe there's an immediate £40 million cost, whereas, say, Jeremy Jacquet, you might only pay 30 million up front, and then you spread another 30 million over 5 years. So actually, on the immediate books of this financial year, Guéhi's more expensive than Jeremy Jacquet. I know that's the amortization isn't a sexy word, and how much you pay up front. We only paid 30 million up front for Enzo Fernandez from Benfica. So, all the Mark Guéhi costs, the 20 million plus whatever the sign-on fee, the agent fees, which are insane these days, that's an immediate bang up front. So, interesting. It's not a case of being loaned out elsewhere. I mean, imagine if we signed this kid for 60 million and loaned him out. Imagine that. Everyone involved would be fuming. Literally everyone. The Ran fans, the Chelsea fans, the Ran management, Chelsea management, the ones who be doing it. The player be like, what are you doing? I'm having a great season. I don't want to go to Strasbourg. They're below us in the league. You're taking me out of a team doing better to loan me to that one. Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely insane. If you have to loan him out to be developed first, it says developed first here, and pay 60 million, then we are the biggest mugs. Yeah. The fact that I'm even writing this is insulting. I'm insulted. As has happened with some of the purchases of a young player in recent years. But yeah, that's when you spend 15, 20 million. 20 million on Andre Santos from Brazil. Fine. Do you know what I mean? But no one else. What other positions are we looking at? Ooh, take a deep breath, get excited, and prepared to almost certainly be disappointed. As explained on the transfer deal sheet last week, Chelsea want to add a midfielder and an attacking player this year. Ooh, they have a list of 10 names for these positions, while business in the summer is more likely. If there's an opportunity to get them now, Chelsea will try and do so. 10 names. I wonder, out of those 10 names, how many of those names do the majority of us recognise? How many of them are 13-year-old Peruvian defensive midfielders? How many of them are Ligue 2 wingers that are 18 with a high ceiling on Football Manager? I'm not expecting one of those attacking players to be Julian Álvarez. I'm going to really stick my neck out there and say that. In terms of creative forward player, Chelsea have this slot free since last summer too. They looked at Xavi Simons but decided he was not the right one, and of course he joined Tottenham from RB Leipzig instead. Yeah, it's worth mentioning, he looks like we've dodged a bullet there. I know he's joined a catastrophic, there we go, team in Spurs who are having a terrible time. But even Florian Wirtz, I know he scored a good goal the other day, but the Bundesliga attacks is looking high octane at the moment. Cook in Bundesliga come to the Prem and just flop hard. It's tough, isn't it? You speak about Havertz. I think Havertz is an incredibly unique and highly talented player that is been misprofiled in that he looks like this like superstar that Bayern, Real Madrid wanted, Chelsea got from Leverkusen. And like Roman Abramovich made it his personal Eden Hazard 2.0 mission to sign him. 72 million. He was a record at the time, wasn't he? I think he was. And then Tuchel, Lampard tries to play him as an 8, tries to play him out wide, trying to, get him to occupy those same spots as he did in the Bundesliga. It doesn't work. He's quite good in the air, so Tuchel ends up playing him as a number 9. And Arteta's like, now I see what he did in the Bundesliga. I'm going to try and do what Lampard did. And, and then he ends up just doing what Tuchel's done. So I think Havertz is a good operator in the Prem, but he's not he's not living up to this profile and ceiling we thought he would. Timo Werner was a tryout. I mean, you look at Timo Werner's reel before he signed for Chelsea, he looked like the best transitional striker in the world. Like, super confident. But that was just a weird purple patch in his life. And then, of course, Nkunku is a really good finisher, but again, just thrived in transitional Bundesliga play. And then you've got these two players that aren't transitional players conventionally, and Xavi Simons and Florian Wirtz. They're like number 10s, like between the line playmakers, and both of them are like, oh my god, I have absolutely no time in the ball in the Premier League. How am I supposed to look good like I did in Germany? So maybe we did, dodge a bullet with Xavi, because I was high on him as well, like massively. I watched the Adam Clary analysis saying how perfect he would be for us, and I was down. But now I feel like, okay, good. Almost dare I say thank you, Chelsea, for not making the call in the end. Here's that line again. Say the line. Sources speaking anonymously to The Athletic to protect relationships say, not finding anyone suitable is why also Buonanotte was signed on loan, but the 21-year-old Argentina international was always intended to only be at Stamford Bridge for the first half of the season. Oh my god, scandal! Despite the deal being for all of it. Shut up! Why don't you just do a 6-month loan then? Why do you do a whole... Oh, it was always the plan. Hold on. This was always our plan. Why did you loan him for the whole entire season then? Oh, sorry? Alright, despite the deal being for all of it, it was only for the first half. As cover to Cole Palmer. So it was Cole Palmer's groin injury. They wanted something for the first 6 months that they're saying to cover him. Look, I don't believe you. Maybe if he did really well, he would have stayed like, oh, we can't let this kid go. He's tearing it up. He's done his in Champions League. He scored 4 goals, and look at him. He's just slotted in beautifully. Then obviously you'd keep him for the maybe there's truth in they wanted the option for the whole year, and if he wasn't cooking, Cole's back, he goes in 6 months. I mean, come on. That does reek of, briefing, doesn't it? We didn't want him for the whole season anyway. Right, next section. Which players could be leaving? Centre-back Axel Disasi has interest from clubs in England, Italy and France. One of these teams want to sign him permanently now. The others have made loan inquiries. Chelsea would prefer a permanent move. Well, I don't know why I said loan move. I mean, we are on the 20th of January. Are they just waiting for teams to get more and more desperate until they go say, sod it, alright, permanent, we'll do it. Like a little game of chicken. Do you know what I mean? Like calling bluffs. England under-21 international Tyrique George is expected to be sold. He has not played for Chelsea in over a month, despite being fully fit. Clubs in the Premier League and in continental Europe are keen. Yeah, apparently Ty's got loads of suitors. Doesn't surprise me, he's good. The plan for winger Raheem Sterling, who's left out the senior squad since the start of the season, to leave for good in this window. The plan is for him to leave for good in this window. That feels impossible. Where's he going to go for good? With his contract worth over 300k a week, expires in the summer of 2027, so he's got 18 months left. We don't want to loan him after his loan at Arsenal, basically. I don't know, man. Champions League and Europa League teams and the other sides of England, like Chelsea's backup I can't speak, bro. I'm so tired. My brain is fried. Like Chelsea's backup goalkeeper, Philip Jorgensen, The club will not sanction a loan and do not want to sell the goalkeeper at this stage because then they'd have to find a replacement mid-season. I mean, I kind of am aligned with this. I originally was thinking, you get any money for Jorgensen, you take it, because we spent quite a bit of money for him and he's not great. But he had a couple of good games and we just need to see out the season and just see who's good and who's not and is Penders ready and what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Rosenia's obviously saying the public face of, oh, I've got 2 world-class ball-playing goalkeepers. Yeah, all right, mate. You're just trying to get their confidence up. Fine, I get it. But I do have a little bit of, you know what, I've seen, despite Jorgensen not being a great goalkeeper, I've seen him put in a performance recently. That's good enough for me to be like, just keep him as the backup because the less change now, the better. That's how I feel. As highlighted above, Datro Fofana, who's made just 4 appearances for Chelsea since joining from Mulder in 2023. What a sight. What a signing. Drogba regen. He's been loaned out 4 times. He's going to be sold after his loan in Turkey ended. The 23-year-old striker has admirers in the Premier League and in Europe. That's interesting. Nico Jackson and Bayern Munich aside, Chelsea are looking at their own loanees, whether they need a change. One, of course, is Kendrick Pires. The 18-year-old forward is increasingly likely to leave France's Strasbourg to be farmed out elsewhere. Right, I think for the moment I'm not going to build a lineup because my brain is fried and this video's gone on for longer than I thought. But interesting that there's 10 names for attackers and midfielders on top of signing, Jacquet, should we get him through the door. I do find that quite interesting. Obviously, Athletic, as much as they're a reputable publication, they of course are briefed by the club, which is obviously for their own PR wins. But at the same time, there will be truth behind their briefings as well. So we have to sort of take that and make our own minds up of how we feel with said briefings. Things that may feel unlikely. Raheem Sterling being sold this month. I mean, how's that the plan? How is that going to happen? How? Like, I still think it will be a summer thing and we'll somehow terminate his contract. But we'll see. That's what's being said. So there's your headline. Raheem sold this month. And yeah, like attacking midfielders, Jacquet and all that kind of stuff. So moves to be done. Tyrique George exit. I mean, pretty big stories, really. So let me know your thoughts. Please do leave them down in the comment section below here on YouTube. Thank you for liking and subscribing to this channel, Football Therapy on YouTube. Better housework while we're here. Football Therapy clips on Instagram and TikTok for the kids out there who use the TikTok. And please do consider giving me a 5-star rating on Spotify after searching Football Therapy Podcast. I think you got to watch at least 20 seconds of it before it lets you rate. But yeah, podcast platforms, that's fun. All right, mate, keep it locked. I hope to see you back here soon. Take care. Peace.